Okay, today I've got a Marlin 336W. And the Marlin 336W is the economy rifle in the 336 line. It differs from the 336C in three different areas. The first area is it does have a beechwood stock and forend rather than the traditional walnut. Second is the matte bead blast finish of the receiver and barrel and other metal parts. And the third thing is it comes with these plastic barrel bands. So that's the three differences between the W and the 336C. Other than that, they're virtually identical. They both have the 20-inch micro grooved rifled barrel, 6-shot tubular magazine. They've got the side eject, side loading gate, the small loop lever with the pistol grip. The overall length of the rifle is 38 inches. You can buy the W with or without a scope. If you buy it with a scope, it comes with a no-name type scope package. If you buy it without, it comes drilled and tapped, ready for a scope. I purchased this rifle without a scope and added my own. It comes with the front hooded sight, kind of traditional. And then it comes with a rear semi buckhorn sight, which folds down if you do want to mount a scope. So let's take a little bit closer look at the differences that differentiate the W from the C. First of all, you see this beechwood stock. It is a little bit plainer and has less grain than walnut. Beech does. But it is a hardwood, so it's very durable and it will hold up as well as walnut. It just doesn't have the nice grain and just not quite as flashy. Number two is let's talk about these plastic barrel bands. A lot of people, kind of get a little bit upset with these things, but I'm here to say that today's polymer, it's as strong as steel, and so strength is not going to be an issue with these. And two big advantages with these polymer barrel bands is one, they won't rust, and number two, when you assemble and disassemble a rifle, when you're taking off these barrel bands, you won't be scratching the barrel or the magazine tube. And all of us that own lever actions with these barrel bands know that, you got to kind of be careful when you're taking your barrel bands off, or you will have a tendency to scratch up your barrel or your magazine tube. With those plastic bands, there's no issues with that whatsoever. Excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about this this matte bead blasted finish. This finish was introduced by Remington, who actually makes this gun for Marlin, back in 1985. They came out with a special purpose line of shotguns that wore this finish. In 1987, Remington unveiled its 870 Express, which also came in this finish and made it very popular. This finish is durable. Some people complain that it does have a tendency to rust more than a traditional blued finish. I don't really believe this is the case. I bought one of those 1987 Express 870 Express shotguns when they first came out, and I tell you that I used and abused that shotgun. And it was rode hard and put away wet after many a duck and a goose hunt, and I gave it very minimal care. And the finish on that, it looks as good today as it did back in 1987 when I bought it. So I don't think this finish is really going to be any different than a blue finish as far as durability is concerned. Uh, the W, they only can be had in 3030. If you want a 35 Remington, you have to purchase the C model. So let's talk a little bit, since this is a Remington made Marlin, let's talk about some of the issues and if they have been corrected. Because when Remington first took over the Marlin production, there was some definite issues with their quality control. And some of these issues were like fit and finish. So let's take a look at some of the fitment of some of these metal and wood parts. As you can see, where the stock meets the receiver, it's a very good fit. There's not much of a gap there, and it's nice and flush too. And then if we kind of turn the gun over and we look at the base plate, it's a perfect match, and it mates up perfectly with the stock. There's no gap, and it's totally flush, so it's perfect. And the tang on the top tang where it meets the stock, it's pretty good. There's a slight gap, but I mean it's definitely acceptable, and it's pretty decent. And if we move up to the fore end where the fore end meets the receiver, perfect. No issues at all. And then where the barrel band meets the fore end, also perfect. No issues. Some of the part tolerances that Remington were, throwing together, some of the parts didn't have very good tolerances, and some of the actions on some of these guns made by Remington were pretty rough. This action is real smooth. It's a brand new gun for the most part. I've shot it a few times, but even being new, the action is nice and smooth, and with some use, I'm sure it's going to smooth out even more, and it'll definitely be on par with some of my JM Marlins. And let's take a look at some of the parts and see if they have any slop. This lever is tight. There is no slop in this lever back and forth. It's really, really good. No issues. The hammer, the same. No issues with any slop in the hammer. The trigger, there's just the slightest bit of play back and forth, but it's not bad. And then it does have the traditional Marlin flop. The trigger on the gun, it breaks nice and clean. Decent for a lever action. I've got no issues with it. It's probably, I didn't measure it, but I would imagine it's probably around 6 pounds or so. So definitely on par with other lever actions. So why would you want to purchase a W rather than a C? Well, number one, the price point's a little bit less, probably about $100 less. The W is about $100 less than a C. You could get one of these Ws for around $400, give or take, depending on where you buy it. So that's one reason. The second reason is it does have this matte finish, and if you're using this gun for hunting, that might be something that you'd be interested in. It's not going to be any metal to reflect light, so it'll be a little bit better for hunting. Why did I purchase this gun? Well, I purchased this rifle because I do own some 336 vintage JM Marlins that, beautiful guns, beautiful metal finish. The wood's really nice on my JM guns, and they're great hunting rifles. They make great hunting rifles, but I pretty much relegate them to range guns and save queens just because they are so nice, and I don't really want to screw them up. But since I do like Marlins and I do like to hunt with them, and they're great hunting guns, I wanted a gun where I could just take out and not spend a lot of money and just take out and, you know, beat it up a little bit in the hunting woods. If it gets a little bit scratched or banged up, it's not a big deal. So that's the reason that I purchased this gun. So I will be making a second video on this gun. We'll take it out to my range and we'll shoot it. We'll check the accuracy, check the function on camera, and we'll see how it performs. So thank you very much for watching and have a great day.